Hey fellow explorers, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you everything I learned attending VidCon 2023, the #1 annual convention for online video, with experts from YouTube, Meta, TikTok, and tons of creators. These tips are straight from the presses, nothing filtered. I've got 11 of them for you, and they're going to be going beyond the traditional advice of be consistent, be original, and be authentic. You've heard all of those things before, and in this video I'll be talking about video intros, artificial intelligence, shorts. And so whether you are a creator starting your channel along the way on it, or you're just curious what the buzz in YouTube is and what trends are coming in the next year, I think this video should be interesting for you. So let's go ahead and start with the first tip or first area that I want to talk about, which is that in 2023, video intros are out and video starts are in. What does that really mean? Well, you know, back in the day, 10 years ago on YouTube, people would spend a lot of time introducing what the topic is. And actually on this live stream, I might have spent too long introducing what this topic is, but this is a 1-hour live stream. So if you clicked on this, chances are you're gonna be here for a little while. So you'd suffer through my 20-second introduction of what you're gonna see. But on a 5-minute video, people can't spend 30 seconds introducing it anymore because our attention spans are so short that we disappear immediately. And on shorts, people's attention span is even shorter. On the 1 minute or less short videos, you've got like almost 0 seconds to set up what people are going to see. So one of the things you'll notice I've been doing lately is basically just kind of restating what the topic is when people join into a video with text on the screen, so that immediately when you come to that video, by the way, this is the first frame of my Taipei travel guide, not out yet, but this is what you'll see immediately when you click into it, because actually a lot of people, if you're watching on mobile, or you actually the videos start, when you're just scrolling across, the videos start. And so in order to catch people's attention, they need to be catchy right away. I'm curious, for everybody watching the live stream or the archive, how long do you wait? How long does it take you before you're like, this one's not for me, I am out of here? Is it 3 seconds? Is it 30 seconds? How long does it take you to decide whether you want to actually stay in this video or whether you want to bail to another one? And one tip that I thought was pretty interesting, particularly if you're doing shorts, is to really pay attention to what the first frame of the video is going to be. So when it starts, what are people going to see, and how visually, immediately can they understand, aha, I can tell what this video is about just based on the imagery on screen at the least. All right, so how long before people bail? Ice Cold Beverage says 20 seconds. Brandon gives videos 1 to 3 minutes. Brandon, I think you are quite generous. Paul says 30 seconds at most. Kathy also says, I watch a few minutes and then decide. Well, there we go. I guess, Brandon, Kathy, you're probably not watching a lot of the shorts where people have the attention span of what has that, like a fly or something. What has a really short attention span? All right, so tip number 2, formats. So, something that people have said for a long time on YouTube is to just kind of figure out what works for you and then keep doing that. Just do that. And what I heard a lot this year was to experiment with different formats, kind of like a variety show. I'm going to dive deeper into what I mean by formats. And by the way, this little picture here at VidCon, this was the TikTok shopping studio. Shopping is definitely one of the things you're going to see a lot of on YouTube, and I'll cover that in tip number 9 or 10. So we're going to come back to shopping, but they had a lot of variety back here. Kind of looked like a variety show. This was in the TikTok lounge at VidCon. So more formats of videos on your channel, and this is more than just experimenting with long-form video, short-form video, live streams, but also, if you notice here on Yellow Productions, if you're a regular viewer, I will do things to know videos, I'll do walking tours, I'll do vlogs, and those are all different things that may appeal to different segments of people. And so there's probably many of you who just come here and watch my travel tips. There's some of you who maybe just come and watch my Japan videos, and while some people might have said, go ahead and create another channel for each one of those topics if they're all in a similar niche. This is the phrase that's used a lot in the YouTube area, niche, like travel or automobiles or gaming. Then put those all together so that people can kind of construct their own watch session or TV show of these different little variety segments. And not all formats will take off. Some will bomb, and that's okay. But of course, the tip is don't just upload all videos that bomb. You know, like if you try a certain format a few times and nobody's interested, then okay, maybe time to move on to another one. You know, the point that they really said, hey, the point that you go and say, well, when you should start a different channel is when the topics are different. So, and this is a challenge I feel like a lot of new creators have, that they're like, I'm gonna do a cooking video, and then I'm gonna do a real estate tour, and then I'm gonna do a car review, and then I'm gonna do a spicy noodle challenge. They're not in like a common interest area, and so people just go like, I don't know, right? But like if you turn on the travel channel on TV, or it's TRVL, you know, like at one point in time when it was actually the travel channel, you're like, I'm gonna watch something about travel, and maybe you don't like all the shows, but chances are there's some format you would like. Same with the sci-fi channel, there's different shows on there, but they're all in the like science fiction realm. And I thought what was interesting was the analogy for when you might want to create another channel is if you're like a company trying to reach a different brand, you know, like in the world of, if you're a brand, your company using a brand to reach a different audience. And so it's like in the world of cereal, you know, General Mills owns a lot of cereal, and then they have different brands of cereal, some that are targeted to young kids, some that are targeted to older people that want to be healthier. And so it's just like, I don't have the world's most extensive set of channels here at Yellow Productions. I decided to keep most of it here on the main Yellow Productions channel, but the ones that are kind of like really kiddie activities that are featuring my daughter running around in indoor playgrounds or museums, then I've spun those off over on her channel, the Spunky Princess channel, because I've actually tagged those made for kids that I think like kids would enjoy those, and that's the audience that I'm going for, or parents of kids, or people who are just like really into what's going on with Chris and the family and this and that, then those are the folks that are gonna tune in to that particular channel. Yeah, and in the chat, I see a lot of chatter about MTV. Yeah, back in the day, MTV, you know, you tune in and it might be a rap song or it might be R&B, but it was going to be music is what you'd find there. I don't know, now it's like a whole something else. Valerian the Max says my hair looks good today. I'm glad to hear that you think I'm having a good hair day. Thank you for that. And Lisa says, I love how your content's informative. I know I'll always learn something from whatever you put. And that's always my goal, is to make videos informative, right? Fun, informative, and entertaining. And for me, like a spicy noodle challenge, it probably wouldn't be that informative. And then in that case, that might go onto a different channel. Now, a statistic that I found particularly interesting is related to longer videos, and clearly you're watching this is a longer video. Longer videos are getting more popular on YouTube. You know, back in the day it used to be like it's got to be 3 minutes or less, and now I don't, you know, there's probably an upper bound of by the time you get to like 3 or 4 hours, I don't know that anybody's watching anymore. But I consume a lot of like hour-long podcast content. I do it when I'm long drives. But another reason why they say long content is becoming popular is because television is the fastest growing platform people are watching YouTube on. And I'm curious, for those of you watching this video, let me know what platform. Are you watching this on your television? Anybody watching this on your television, drop me a TV in the chat or drop me a TV in the comments. Justin says, Chris's tea tasting channel. You know, I could totally start a tea tasting channel because I drink so many teas. I hadn't thought about it, but I could do a whole channel about tea reviews. By the way, what am I drinking today? Today I am drinking a Royal, focus, come close to my face, a Royal milk tea from Tea Station, and I got the large size. I didn't realize it was going to be like bathtub size. But I like the teas at Tea Station. It's the kind of place where they like actually brew it from tea leaves when you order it, which is the kind of tea I'm looking for, as opposed to from powder. All right, so Kathy is watching on TV. So is Jeff. Brooklyn Joe casts to his TV. Paul says TV often, but not today. And Kathy, she's really plugged in. She watches on TV and comments on her phone. That makes a lot of sense. And then I also saw a lot of people saying iPads, laptop, MacBooks. So it is cool to see a lot of you are watching on your televisions. And Cottage Full of Love says, I love travel vlogs that are super long. Like 2 hours is great. I've been thinking about making like some content marathons where I like bundle up, you know, like my Singapore guide, I broke into 3 different vlogs. And my Taipei vlog, I put in a one long one. And so, I don't know, I'm still experimenting on should they be 20 minutes or can they go longer? So, there we go. And Zachary says, Chris must have used his Flowbee due to his good hair day. Well, that is definitely what creates the good hair, is the Flowbee. All right. Let's go on to number 3, tip number 3, and this was another like huge buzz at VidCon this year, which was about using artificial intelligence tools. The phrase I heard Colin and Samir use is that artificial intelligence is the creator's #1 collaborator on YouTube this year. And by the way, if you're not familiar with Colin and Samir, they're kind of like 2 really big voices in the creator economy. They have a channel where they've interviewed a lot of YouTube's biggest creators, and so they're a great source for kind of like what's going on. Why is this picture here? This picture is from an Instagram account called Painted Saintly, and they posted this up a few days ago where they tagged me, and they're one of those, they got one of those things where they use AI to generate pictures of you in different ways, and so Painted Saintly generates pictures of you as a saint with some input photos. And so if you wondered what AI thinks I look like if I was a saint, now you know. But the conversation about AI is that, you know, certainly there are some channels on YouTube today that are like entirely AI channels. Like there's the AI Seinfeld channel, and then there's like Obama and Donald Trump playing like Minecraft or something like that. But what most creators are using AI for is particularly with like ChatGPT, which, you know, is the whole buzz about this generative conversive chatbot type AI, is to really just help with ideas or refine ideas. And so it's not really about copy and paste, but this one of the speakers, John Ushai, he used to work for YouTube. He says it's not about copy and paste, but it's about copy with taste. And that's something I've found that like when I've tried to use ChatGPT to be like, tell me about what there is to do in Phoenix, or tell me about the weather in Phoenix, sometimes I get back stuff that's just plain wrong. It's just wrong. But like I have used ChatGPT really successfully to like help me with video titles, where I'll feed it a video title and I'll say like, hey, give me some other titles. But what you might find interesting, and I heard this one, is that if you're using ChatGPT, before you ask it a question, you can tell it that it's a certain persona. So you can tell ChatGPT something like, you're an industry expert in X, and you're creating videos on this topic. Create an outline of it. Or you can say something like, ChatGPT, pretend you're a headline writer for BuzzFeed and give me 10 titles for something that people can click on. You could use it for YouTube videos. You could use this for your blog posts. You could use this to help you write an email. You know, I've heard people using ChatGPT to like, if they need to write a congratulations email or a condolences email, they use ChatGPT or AI to help them with the base one and then fill it in from there. Scottman895 says, I need to try out ChatGPT still. You know, the one I actually use more than ChatGPT is I use Google's Bard, B-A-R-D, Bard. I just find it easier to get into. But a lot of people that seem to be like at the pro level of using this stuff seem to be paying for the $20 premium ChatGPT subscription, because like the one you get for free doesn't know about anything in the last 2 years online, but if you pay $20, it can go out and do searches when you do queries, and so like it seems like it knows a lot more. But what I also found interesting was in the session about AI, some creators were saying how they'll use AI to do like all of the visuals for their video. They will record it they'll record their voice as like audio, and then they'll use ChatGPT to create prompts to then feed to Midjourney. If you're not familiar with Midjourney, Midjourney is like the kind of thing that will create AI images. And so they'll feed Midjourney prompts about like, they'll use ChatGPT to help them create the prompts to tell the image creation AI what to create, and then their video will just be full of basically imagery that was created by this artificial intelligent thing. What I thought was interesting was a conversation about, well, then who owns that? Do you have copyright over it? And there's a whole bunch of copyright law right now about, well, if it's created by a computer, it can't be copywritten. Like, you can't own it because it wasn't created by a person, it was created by a computer. And so there's still kind of a lot of weirdness around AI created stuff and who actually owns it. Something a lot of people said they were using too is AI to do voiceovers. So there's this software called Descript. A lot of people use Descript to edit podcasts, and in Descript you can train it on your voice, and then if there were like a couple words it needs to fill in, you can have it fill in a couple words. Though people say it doesn't really work very well with like intonation and inflection, and if you're trying to like have it read a long thing. But if you missed the word the, or like a couple words, right, you can use AI speech to help fill in. The last one that there was a lot of conversation about this year was AI language translation. So if you aren't following this one, YouTube just released multi-channel audio, meaning that you can watch one video on YouTube and you can select from different audio tracks for that one video. Previously on YouTube, there was just one audio track per video, and so if you wanted, like Mr. Beast does this, where, but previously he would have multiple channels in multiple different languages, and now a Mr. Beast video, all of the languages are in the one video, and then as the viewer, you can switch between Mr. Beast in English or Mr. Beast in Japanese, and it costs a lot of money to have voice actors actually dub audio, and so there's a lot of companies kind of like rushing in to try to provide AI translation services. Will they be any good? I don't know. Only time will tell. But if I get that feature, because it's like the whole multi-language audio track is like they're rolling it out, and so if I get it, I'll try out some of this AI language translation and see if Chris in Japanese translated by AI sounds good or not. We'll find out. All right. The fourth tip that a lot of presenters were sharing at VidCon is that being successful on YouTube isn't just about money, but you can totally have fame on a budget. You don't need racks and racks of gear. You can do it pretty inexpensively. And the one that I hear over and over again are people saying, hey, where should you spend your first dollar after you get a camera or a cell phone? You should spend it on some audio gear, on a microphone. Because if your microphone's not good, nobody's going to want to watch the video, assuming there are people talking. But that spending money and scaling is often romanticized in the YouTube world, like as you get better and as you get more gear and as you get more people, somehow that makes your videos better. And a lot of conversation about how can we compete with Mr. Beast, who, if you don't know Mr. Beast, he's like the #1 subscribed to individual YouTuber on the platform. He spends multi-millions of dollars, and the answer is none of us should even try to compete with Mr. Beast, because we can't, because we don't have the money that he has. Well, maybe some, if you're Bill Gates, maybe you do, but most of us don't. And so in that case, maybe we can use it as inspiration, but we should look at trying to tell a good story, trying to deliver value within the means that we have. And certainly as I've gone on here over time, I have upgraded my equipment over time, but like as I spend more money on things, they become more and more complicated to use, and so sometimes I hate to admit it, but sometimes I'll buy things and then they sit on a shelf because they're too hard to use, and so I really have like a set of gear that I like that just kind of works. And then I wait to be like, okay, what's my next thing? I use the DJI Osmo Pocket 2. When the 3 comes out, I'll get that to upgrade my workflow. And sometimes I get things like the Insta360 X2 360. I'm pointing to it because it's right up there, and I've used it a couple times, and I've yet to like include any of the video from that camera into one of my YouTube videos. I need to at some point, so that I can actually claim it as a legitimate business expense. But I'm still working on that. And I know a lot of people have said, Chris, when you bring back the 360 videos, you know, maybe when Apple's new VR AR headset comes out, I will dust that off of the shelf. Alex says that we have the same concept in our photography groups. Having good gear helps, but 80% of it is the skills of the person behind the camera. I think that is definitely true. R&D Bro says, how do I edit my podcasts and videos? My videos, I use either Magix Vegas, Apple Final Cut Pro on my MacBook laptops, or Adobe Premiere if I've got some heavy duty stuff. I actually have a whole video about my editing workflow that I did as a live stream, so if you search for Yellow Productions editing, you will find that. Yeah, Kathy says, I bought the Insta360, but have not used it either. I took it on my holiday and used it once. I think that's what happened to a lot of 360 cameras. People are like, this is cool, let me get it. Yeah, and let's take a few pictures. Oh, that's neat. And then people struggle with like, but how do I like really use it for something useful? All right. Tip number 5, let's talk about shorts. So shorts are definitely like the hot newness on YouTube. You know, they've been around the other platforms for a while. Instagram, you know, has got Reels and had IGTV, and certainly TikTok is entirely focused on these short vertical videos. But you know, the conversation or tips about like how to make successful shorts. And by the way, I can't claim to have achieved amazing success for me in shorts. I'm still trying to like dial in what people like to watch on shorts, because I feel my forte is definitely in long form content like this, and in 60 seconds I have to like really have a different idea and a different style and a different pacing, because as I mentioned before, a lot of you said your attention span is, you know, 30 seconds, a minute or two. That's why you're here, because that's where this Yellow Productions content gets good. But if your attention span is only 1 or 2 seconds on a short before you swipe away to something else, well, that's a whole different level. And so the tips for how to do well on shorts are shorts. There should be no breath, no pause, give the viewer no chance to scroll away, which means editing out any breath or editing out any pause. And on shorts, you really want the video to seemingly end too soon. Like, you don't want them to know the end is coming. You want them to like fall off the end cliff, because one of the things YouTube looks at is retention, how far people made it through the short. And so if you can get them to the end and then it starts to play again, well, all of a sudden that's where YouTube's like, aha, that was a good one, because a lot of people made it to the end. And so a lot of the like, call them pro creators, you know, they are filming their shorts content within their long form content. So they're like purposefully thinking, hey, if I'm gonna go out and shoot this 10-minute video on Hollywood Boulevard, how within it can I create 3 segments that I also use as shorts? TubeBuddy, which is a like a plugin that you can use to help you like look at YouTube analytics, they have a new feature that gives suggestions on what portions of a video should become a short. I've tried it out. It's based on what portions of video people watch the most or rewatch. I've not found it tremendously useful. Maybe you will. And then another site that people referenced was this thing called Opus Clip. Opus spelled O-P-U-S clip.com. And apparently their thing is you feed it one video, like a long form video. It uses AI to chop it up into 10 shorts and gives it back to you with apparently with like titles and sound effects and stuff. I don't know. I'm going to give that a try too and see if that helps create some interesting content. But otherwise, most of the shorts you've been seeing on my channel, they've been things I've just been creating as shorts. Stories has gone away on YouTube, and so I've tried to move the content that I would do on stories to shorts. For me, it's a pain to like subtitle them, but I realize a lot of you not a lot of you, but a lot of people, right? When they watch shorts, they don't watch them with audio on. And so if I expect them to turn audio on, then probably half the people just drop off right away because they're like, I'm on the subway, I'm not in a place where I can turn my sound on, I can only read, which then just makes it all that longer to make a short video. And Zachary Smith says, maybe I'm too old, but I don't like shorts. Zachary, maybe you are, but that's okay. Not all of us have to like shorts, but one of the things I say, I've seen a lot of creators, and not just me, but like this is the sentiment in the YouTube space. A lot of people have had like a monumental rise in like subscribers and viewership, specifically due to shorts, just because of how many people there are that are like interested in watching short form videos. And so that's something you will see me dabbling in more. If I crack the code, I will certainly let you know. Rob says, what are my thoughts on AI? Do I think it's bad or good, especially with shorts? Yeah, so let me talk a little bit more about like AI video creation. And this is one where like sometimes I'll see travel guides on YouTube that are like entirely created by AI. Like, what are the 10 best things to do in Phoenix? And it's like AI voice, and it's just like images that were scraped from Google Images. And I have mixed emotions on this. I'll say in a space where like if you're going to a destination that there's literally no content for it, perhaps the AI generated one is better than nothing. But if a person actually created one, that one to me is definitely better than the AI one. And so that's one where like if I'm going to a place and I see there are some popular AI generated videos as travel guides, I'm like, okay, that's one I can make a good video on, because the fact that people are watching this crap means that if there's at least one good one, that one will do well. Okay. So tip number 6 is that while the phrase is related to all these things, there is no such thing as too much content. I think it's interesting when people talk about shorts. There are some people who publish 20 or 30 shorts a day. I think that's crazy talk. And I don't know, maybe because I can't create that content, maybe because I don't want to watch that content, but it really like depends on the audience, like for some channels or for some segments, or even segments where maybe there aren't a lot of viewers, like maybe just putting a ton of content out in the world allows a lot of people to like hang on it and then come into that channel. But I think that quantity is not always better than quality, and I think they need to be quality videos that people want to watch. And so this segues real great into that AI conversation. If using AI means you're going to generate a video that's not interesting or people don't want to watch, it's not very good. But if using AI helps you generate a better video that more people want to watch, then I think it's useful. But now here's the interesting one about how do you get to quality? And the way you get to quality is often by quantity. You just have to like make a lot of videos in order to start making videos that are good. And so if you're just getting started or you're in the middle or whatever, don't hesitate while a lot of people aren't watching to just like make a lot of things as like an exercise to be like, okay, which one of these things is actually good? Which ones do I want to watch? Which ones does my mom want to watch? Which ones do my friends want to watch? Which ones do people I don't know want to watch? And that's probably when you're actually on to something. Yeah, and Kathy says, those people who do 20 shorts a day would be on their phone 24 hours. Yes, we're going to talk about people who spend way too much time on the social media. But they could be. And Heaven knows, as I love all of your shorts with you and the Spunky Princess. Well, thank you very much. Heaven knows, I'm glad you appreciate them. And Live Life Traveler says shorts are good for a fast and quick laugh or information. Just my thoughts. Yeah, I think so. This was like when what's his name? Monster Media Company. So in one of the talks that was focused on shorts, what he said was that he really sees shorts being popular in 2 ways. One is definitely for information. So if you're going to YouTube and you're searching for something about like how to tie your shoes or how to tie a tie or you know, how to buy tickets for the Eiffel Tower, and there's a video that's less than 60 seconds that might tell you that, that's something that people be like, okay, that's the one I'm going to watch because it's really short and it might give me the information I want to know. But then really where they're popular is in entertainment, and in particular, comedy is like the #1 thing in shorts. Like comedy channels have just like blown it up on shorts, or videos where like you'll want to share it with somebody because the video reminds you of them, for example, or reminds you of you. So, you know, maybe something with babies or something with bunnies because you know your friend really loves bunnies. So those are what tend to be popular in shorts. And so anyway, I'm still figuring out what that is in like the travel space. But if y'all have ideas of kinds of things you want to see in shorts, let me know, since I'm still experimenting with that one. You might also see me try to bring back like short bits from some of my older videos that might not have gotten a ton of views, just to like try to get some new, you know, 60-second like air into what I think is great content that maybe like didn't take off the way I thought it would when I made the video the first time. Oh yeah, the Jim says, I don't like the shorts that loop and don't end. Well, that's like I feel like it's a technique that some people use where they make the end frame like basically come to the beginning, and so you never know where the beginning or end is. You probably won't ever see one of mine like that because it just doesn't make sense for travel tips or things like that. And Kathy says, yes, love butter chicken. If you, my recent short was indeed having butter chicken pizza. So there we go. All right. Always discussion about thumbnails and titles. What make for the best thumbnails? What make for the best titles? This is tip number 7. And so the experts say in a thumbnail, you want to create emotion or curiosity, something that people look at and they want to click on it. And, you know, I think I put this picture here because this is like a billboard of this donut shop called the Donut Man that we ate at yesterday, where they have these like strawberry donuts, but it's a billboard. And so I was like, you know, people who design billboards kind of like would probably get like thumbnails. Close-up of faces is, you know, generally better than far away, not too much clutter, and like trying to tell the story of the video through the thumbnail so that when people click on the thumbnail, they get what they thought they were going to get. And I thought this tip was interesting. If you can't think of the thumbnail, like when you're coming up with the video idea, but you can't think about what the thumbnail would be, then the experts would say, don't make the video. Don't make the video, because if you can't make a compelling thumbnail, then don't make the video. And then when it comes to titles, the advice is often the simpler the better, less than 60 characters so that they don't scroll. And then this is where I'll go back to my previous tips. And like I said, I've been using them recently, you know, last 6 months, where I will come up with a title and then I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll be like, what are some other, I'll do the, you work at ChatGPT, you work at BuzzFeed, you're a headline writer at BuzzFeed, give me 10 more titles that people will click on for this. And one of the ones that I used that on was my Chinatown walking tour, that if it was just me, I might have titled it Chinatown Walking Tour. San Francisco Chinatown Walking Tour. But one of the titles that came back from ChatGPT was Revealing the Hidden Wonders of San Francisco Chinatown. And I was like, that's the amazing title. And that video's gone on to do really well. And is it simply because of the title? I mean, no, because people they have to watch it too, and so there has to be some decent watch time. But I think that like the more kind of catchy and captivating title has let more people like flow into the video to then realize like it's a good one that they might want to watch. All right, you know, Kathy talking about people spending 24 hours on their phone. A big area that creators were talking about was burnout, and so of course the tip here is don't burn out. But this right here in the VidCon, this is the VidCon book schedule, this and that. There's a page in here. I probably won't be able to. Oh, here we go. This page. This is the page that I took that picture of, nice and big so you can see it. But this is an advertisement from TikTok where it says point of view, POV. You're reading a magazine instead of scrolling. And then it says here, charge your social battery, set TikTok screen time limits, and sleep reminders to give yourself some space. Boy, I don't know. I mean, is that the world we've come to, that people need like reminders about when to go to sleep? You know what my reminder is? My reminder to go to sleep is like when I'm tired. But a lot of creators, when they were up on stage at VidCon, you know, and it was like, hey, how are you doing, or this and that, it's usually like, I'm tired. I'm feeling burnt out. And so advice that a lot of creators have given that have like gone through the whole cycle about like being popular and dropping out and coming back to their channel is really saying to pick something that you'll enjoy for the long term, because people want to see other people having fun, actually having a good time, not looking like they're burnt out or exhausted. Which also means you might have to like end the shoot early if you're tired. And by the way, this doesn't mean that like we can't be real people, and when we are exhausted and we are going through things, that like we can't share it or talk about it. But I don't think that's the state that we all want to see all the time whenever we turn into YouTube. And so an area that like is particularly prevalent with burnout is the streamer community. We're doing a live stream here. But particularly for Twitch streamers who often stream like playing video games for 6 to 12 hours a day. That's crazy. How can you spend 6 to 12 hours a day? You know, I do one live stream a week for an hour, and I'll admit, after I finish this hour, I'm kind of tired. I mean, I enjoy this hour. I love hanging out with y'all when I do these live streams. I really do. But my voice gets tired after talking for an hour, and I don't know how people could do it for 6 or 12, day in, day out. And for me, it takes me some time to come up with what I want to say and what pictures do I want to show. And so I guess for me, this is like quality over quantity. I think I can do one quality live stream per week. And if I tried to do more, I don't think they'd be quality anymore. What I think is also important in this like burnout thing, and people always ask me this about like travel videos, like, Chris, do you ever feel like making videos impedes on your vacation, on your actual trip? And I'll say it can. My however comma to that is I really try hard to not let it. And so like when we go to an attraction or destination, I will often walk around once and like experience it. And then we walk around a second time to like record it. And so that way I can just like be in the moment and be in the place. And then of course while I'm doing that, I am thinking about, okay, how do I want to come back and do this and what I want to say? But that allows me to enjoy it without necessarily being a personality. And then there's some days, you know, why I don't do a lot of like airline vlogs that I did on this trip, where I reviewed like a couple of flights, like my United flight, my Singapore Airlines flight. But you'll notice in those reviews, it was, for at least on the plane, it was all entirely B-roll. Like I just recorded stuff on the plane and then I voiced it over later, because man, when I'm 14 hours on a plane, I'm not really, probably not really like the, you know, cheery personality that you want to listen. I'm probably really tired. And so in that case, it's better just to like collect the video footage and then come back afterwards and like compose my thoughts as to how I want to share it with y'all. Kathy says, my kids spend hours every day playing games. I could not look at a screen for that long. Yeah, I've shared this before, which is that I really used to be into video games, particularly like text-based role-playing games called MUDs, like the things before World of Warcraft and this and that. Like the particular one that I like to play was called Moongate in my teens, and Moongate would, you know, keep track of how many hours you played this game. And you know, when I saw that count at one time, 4,000 hours. I spent 4,000 hours playing this text-based role-playing game, and I was like, I looked at that statistic and I was like, that's crazy. And so then like at some point in my life, and it was in my you know, teens to college years, where I was definitely like the person who was up late at night. My background's in software, and so like writing code, really great at 4 in the morning because nobody bugs me. But then when I get to the time when I'm going to sleep, when morning children's cartoons are on, is when I'm like, something is topsy-turvy with my life. I shouldn't be having breakfast at 3 p.m. And then going to sleep with morning cartoons. I should try to live with the rest of the people. And I know that there's a lot of people who are nurses or doctors or this and that who like work the night shift. I don't mean any anything negative towards them. They do amazing work. But when it becomes, living the vampire, that wasn't me. That was sitting in front of my computer by myself late at night. I did make a conscious effort to say, okay, I'm going to go out. I'm going to ride a bike. I'm going to go surfing. I'm going to enjoy the world. And amazingly, I got healthier. I was, I talk about this too, where, so in my weight wise, at my weightiest, I was 220 pounds in college. I now hover about 190, but how did Chris lose 30 pounds? By taking up surfing, bike riding, and playing Dance Dance Revolution, and still eating an In-N-Out burger 3 times a day. To lose weight and get in shape doesn't mean you have to eat radishes and rutabagas all the time. You can still eat pretty good food, but it did become like doing physical things. After a couple hour surfing session, I could eat a 4x4 from In-N-Out burger if I wanted to. All right. I got off on a tangent on that one. But just to say that prioritizing health and prioritizing a topic that you're interested in are super important. All right, let's talk about number 9, which is shopping. This is a trend you're going to see a lot of in 2023, and it was definitely what YouTube was making its biggest promotional push for on the floor of VidCon. They had this huge YouTube shopping thing. They had an hour-long session with the head of YouTube AdSense, and a whole bunch of creators just to talk about the shopping features and on some of my creators that have more than 20,000 US-based creators that have more than 20,000 subscribers currently can tag products from 50 major retailers, and you'll see those on the side of videos. There's some way to do it in live streams. I haven't figured it out. Otherwise, I would have done it in this live stream just to show you what it looks like. I think you're going to see YouTube promoting more videos that have shopping in them. Chris's 2 cents. I don't really know, but they have used these little bullets to say videos that use the shopping features will have improved discovery, which means that the algorithm kind of pluses them up a little bit. Kathy says, I need to look into the shopping side. It'd be good for my business. Yeah, and so with the shopping, you can either tag things from the major retailers, or if you have a shop, then you can tag those things. So I don't know how under some of my videos you can see shirts or things like that. Actually, I should be able to go here. Let's see, select products to display. Let's display the Yellow Productions logo on the black shirt. Can we do this? Okay, I drag products here. I click save, and then preview. Pick a product to pin in the chat. Use this to highlight a product you're talking about. Pin product. And so if you're on the live stream right now in the chat, you should see the Yellow Productions shirt. I don't know. Let me know if you saw that. But that's one of the new shopping features that I learned about how to use all of 2 days ago. So there we go. All right. And it's easy. I just figured out how to do it live. Okay. So tip number 10 was about creating true community. And a lot of people reference this paper called 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly. And what this paper talks about is it says that, today an alternate path to success other than stardom, which is being Tom Cruise, is you can do it by just having 1,000 true fans. And honestly, if you're watching this live stream today, I want to say you are a true Yellow Productions fan. I thank you very much. If you're watching the archive and you've made it to this point in the video, 45 minutes in, you are a true fan as well. This guy right here. Art is a true fan as well. I met him at VidCon. He is in charge of the Cal State Fullerton, which is a university here in Southern California. He's in charge of their YouTube channel, and he came up to say hey at VidCon, which I thought was pretty neat. You know, I think like this was another big topic about like how to create community, and of course they give tips about like do live streams and engage on comments and engage on posts. And I don't know, that's always been me. Like for people who leave comments on videos, I try to respond to as many as I can, because if I left a comment, I'd like somebody to respond to me or put a heart on it or things like that. And you know, while I can't respond to every comment on the live stream because I also have to like talk at the same time and look at my notes to figure out what to say, I do go back and read them afterwards, and the ones that I missed, like I almost wish I could go back and be like, hey, I want to engage with it. And so just because I didn't see your chat during the live stream doesn't mean I don't see it later. Wu Taiwan says, TikTok has destroyed the whole game. YouTube is addicted to shorts now, and I fear that's not viable. I love YouTube, but think it's heading south slowly. You know, Wu Tai, while I am also clearly not the biggest connoisseur of shorts, and I don't know that like shorts for the long run is where, I mean, yes, YouTube is trying to promote shorts because they know people are watching it, but YouTube is also promoting podcasts and long form and television. And so, I guess now here we go. I guess if I compare this, like, here's a conversation about the three at VidCon. So what have we got? We got YouTube, we got TikTok, and we've got Meta, Facebook, Instagram. Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. YouTube had a lot of really great sessions. They had their like head of AdSense there talking. They had their head of like search and discovery. They had a lot of really great sessions, and honestly, I'm like really impressed by the people who work for YouTube when they come out to talk. Meta, I was not as impressed by their sessions. And TikTok didn't really seem to have any. Like TikTok, they had their lounge set up, but they weren't talking about anything. So TikTok was definitely signing up creators to join their, you know, shopping affiliate program and their CapCut video editing creator program. But they weren't doing a lot of sessions to be like, let's tell you about like how TikTok works and things like that. So this is where Brandon says YouTube is the jack of all trades in videos. I think what made YouTube really successful is that they've just been really transparent about revenue and ads and what gets paid out and what doesn't. And I find the actual like tools to use as a creator to be like the easiest. While if you look at my numbers, actually today I have more followers on or likes on Facebook than I do on YouTube, and some of my videos get way more views on Facebook. Like my San Francisco mistakes video, I don't know, 50,000 on YouTube, over 1 million on Facebook. But it's really hard. Like it's really hard to like upload videos and track videos and see the insights and see the statistics. And so I still enjoy the YouTube ecosystem more. And I don't know, like when I'm out in the world, nobody comes up and says like, hey, you're the Facebooker. You know, everybody's like, hey, I've seen your videos from YouTube, which is funny because I think actually on Facebook I may have gotten more views than I have on YouTube. Okay, this is my last tip. The last tip is start now. This is what every creator stood on stage to say, hey, if you're on the fence, this and that, start now. And by the way, in the chat, like I can't put this up because it's just in the chat, but it says Kathy just passed her member for a month. So thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that. All right, so start now. Don't sweat the real-time immediate statistics. Why? So the question, why does a video take off when it hasn't for a long time? For me, this happens all the time where like I upload a video and it just doesn't do very well. And then 2 weeks later, a month later, 3 months later, the video starts to take off. My Floby video was an example of that. That like in the pandemic, it really took off because all of a sudden there was an audience for my Floby video that there wasn't before. Because like George Clooney or somebody came out and said that I need to fix my hair now. George Clooney came out and said he used the Floby, and so then all of a sudden people are like, oh, what's a Floby? What's that look like? But YouTube also decides what to recommend to people based on their device they're watching, whether they're watching on mobile, TV, whether it's morning, whether it's evening. So if you notice you get different sets of videos recommended to you depending upon how you're watching, it's actually how it works. Then just the last one I want to share is about live streams. This was one that the head of YouTube search and discovery said he gets a lot of questions about live streams in particular, where a lot of creators will think live streams will kill their channel. They kill their channel because they don't do well, people won't want to watch the archive later, and so a lot of creators, after they do a live stream, they unlist it so that people can't find it, that it's not recommended to others. The team at YouTube said they analyzed it, and the channels that leave their live streams up afterwards generally did better than those that didn't, because it's another piece of content for those that actually want to engage with it and dive in, versus if you unlist it, then it's just not there anymore.
Fellow explorers, it is now Q&A time. If you've got a question, I've got an answer.
All right, fellow explorers, it is now Q&A time, and then we'll give away a Yellow Productions shirt, as we always do. So Wu Tai says, is there any way to make a failing channel like mine get better? I've asked YouTube many times, and their responses are, well, mixed at best. That was not one of the sessions that I attended, Wu Tai, and so I'd probably be speaking out of school. I don't know, but if you want to chat, just ideas that I have, I'm happy to do that offline too. Wu Tai says, live streams killed my channel. I deleted them all and it just stagnated, but the lives ruined me big time. Trust me, recovering is nearly impossible, so I wish I knew that a long time ago. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Wu Tai. One of the things, at least one creator referenced, there was a creator, I forget her name, but she has a sneaker channel or a shoe channel, and she says she premieres all of her videos, and that her audience likes that a lot. I don't know. I've really not dived into the premiere thing all that much. I guess probably because I do the live streams. Yeah. Elizabeth says, Brady is dying to know what airline you like best. My favorite airline is Singapore Airlines, and if Brady hasn't seen the recent review I did of Singapore Airlines business class, I definitely encourage you, Brady, to check that one out. The airline I fly the most is United, just because they fly to Asia a lot from Los Angeles, and that's where we go a lot. I have over 1 million flight miles with United. James says, what was the most interesting thing I got from VidCon? The most interesting thing. I'm trying to look to see if I have any things that I got nearby. I don't know. I didn't this year I didn't really buy anything. Previous years, they would often have like Samsung in previous years released their 360 camera at VidCon. You could get it before everybody else. GoPro has done that previous years. There weren't really any big creator releases or things like that at VidCon. I think, maybe this one, which is what is this? This is a coupon code for dubsync.ai, which is one of those language translation things where they do AI language translation. So I'm gonna give that a try because it's free for a while. I think they're trying to get guinea pig users at the beginning. So there we go. Elizabeth asks if I've ever been to Cuba. No, not yet. Alex says, do you have any recommendations on gimbals for Canon DSLR or a good brand to look at that you recommend? Looking to branch out and experiment with some 4K video. I've seen some for a few hundred, probably to more. The one that I like, if you've got a Canon DSLR, is the DJI Ronin 2. So I use the DJI Ronin 2 for the DJI RS2. The DJI RS2. That's what I use for my Sony a7S III. It's a good gimbal. It's heavy. They've got little smaller ones, but what I like about, and I should really do one of my 2-minute reviews on my DJI RS2 gimbal. But what I like about it is you can push a button and the whole thing locks in place. And then you can push another button and the whole thing unlocks. I always find it really tedious to lock and unlock and spin all the dials on a gimbal. So that's the one I like. The Wu-Tang Life says, I've seen the dumbest things get millions of views. I've seen the dumbest things get millions of views too. Do you know what my most viewed video is? My most viewed video? It's actually on Facebook. My most viewed video is when In-N-Out Burger, when it was the beginning of the pandemic, and they installed these touchless soda fountains that, like, instead of pushing a button or instead of putting your cup up to it, you would just hold your finger in front of it and it would dispense soda. I uploaded a 10-second video of getting ice and soda from the touchless thing, and it's gone on to have like 15 million views on Facebook or something like that. This made me no money because Facebook only monetizes videos after they reach 1 minute. You have to watch on Facebook. You have to watch a video for 1 minute before the creator gets any penny. There you go. Ice Cold Beverage says, was there a certain creator you met at VidCon who was particularly helpful? Ice Cold Beverage, I don't know, like, as somebody who, like, I met that told me a secret in the hallway or something like that. Definitely one of the talks. I enjoyed the talks by John Ushai, since he formerly worked at YouTube. And I also enjoyed the talks by the CEO of Little Monster Media, that I can't remember his name. It's like Matt Gillian, something like that is how you pronounce it. Galen. Those were the talks I enjoyed the most. I enjoyed the YouTube behind the scenes talks too. I tend to, I don't know, like I go to a lot of talks and I absorb, and you know, I'm not like hanging out at the happy hour going like, hey, Mr. Beast, what tips have you got for me? And Alex says, isn't my soda fountain thing like 20 million? It is probably 20 million. I've sort of like, I've stopped looking at it and obsessing about it. It's just kind of there. So it very well might be. Wu Tai says, one day in LA I was on vacation and I had a 99.9% view drop in a single day, and it recovered 20%, but it's always been bad. They never give a reason. That's crazy, Wu Tai. I don't know where all your views went. It must be some like algorithm. That's weird. That is what I don't have an answer for you. You need to get like the engineers who understand the algorithm and the matrix to help you for that. Yeah, and Wu Tai says, I will say that I think YouTube is the best platform. It is unfortunate to what happened to Twitter. Hopefully they can pull Twitter back out. I'm keeping hope alive for Twitter. Cottage Full of Love says, what you know about AI, do you think it's going to hinder future YouTubers? I don't think so. I mean, I think that there's I think for all of us, there's a spark of human creativity that we enjoy, and right now, that's still something that AI can't replicate. I mean, in 20 years, we might be talking about something completely different because the AI might be a lot better at replicating ideas and things that are interesting, but in the near term, like in the next 3 to 5 years, I'm not worried about a AI-generated travel channel taking over Yellow Productions, or that it, being impossible for you to compete as a person because you're trying to compete against AIs. Jim says, how long have you been making videos for YouTube? I started Yellow Productions in 2008. Gosh, how many years is that? 15 now. And Nick says, I drink your views. I drink to that. And Wu Tai says, I hear that there's an AI video maker being created where you can have videos made from text like AI art. I'm on the wait list. Wu Tai, let me know if it's cool or not. There's some videos I've been wanting to make. Like, I've really been wanting to do sort of the like explainer style videos about like maybe Vegas, like how the mob started Vegas, or why casinos don't have clocks in them, or things like that. And I haven't got further than like the ideation of them because I haven't really come to grips with how I would create the visual elements for those videos. But if there's like a neat AI, like I think I could write some interesting stories about them. And so if there's a neat AI image or video creator that might help with that, I would be all ears. And Wu Tai says, yeah, when you started, I remember you looked like you were 21. Same with me, and now I'm 40. Time flies indeed. And Amber says, yes, please do those videos. All right, Amber. Maybe when Wu Tai helps me with that AI video generator. All right, it's giveaway time.
Yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
All right, fellow explorers, in every video, I always give away something. I always give away something. I always give away a Yellow Productions crew shirt to somebody who can answer one of my questions. And my question to you is, there was a video thumbnail that I showed you in the beginning. What city was that travel guide for? And if you're the first person to answer that, I will send you a Yellow Productions crew shirt to anywhere in the world. And if you don't get to win one, but you want to pick one up and you're watching the live stream, I guess it's pinned there on top of the chat. But if you don't, you can head over to the Yellow Productions shop. You can pick one up over there. And if you wonder, Chris, when is the next live stream? You can sign up for my email list, the Yellow Productions update, where I will send you an email as soon as I got a topic and I know the date. And if you want to support the channel without buying a shirt, well, you can become a channel member, just like these super cool people here. They help support quality content because they clicked that join button right there where the subscribe button used to be, because of course you are all subscribed right now. I appreciate every one of you members and every one of you watching right now.
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
All right, congratulations to Lisa. Lee, you were the first one to say Taipei, and yes, that's the Taipei travel guide, recorded, coming out soon. Lisa, send me an email to chris@yellow-productions.com. You'll find that in the description, and I will get the shirt headed right over to you. Let me know your address and your size. Number 2 goes to Kathy, and number 3 goes to Brandon, but Lisa, you are the winner. Well, as usual, fellow explorers, pleasure hanging out with y'all, and I won't say goodbye because I'm going to see you in the next video. If you haven't given this video a thumbs up yet, please do so as you watch the outro.